Time for another edition of Shelton City Council Looking Ahead with City Manager Mark Ziegler. And Mark, study session Tuesday night says emergency management basics, but it's more than just the basics, right?
Yeah, it's a little more than basics. I think that the presentation will essentially be, it'll start with the basics and we'll morph into more, I guess, extensive conversation about how we can better prepare for emergencies and disasters that would occur in our community. We've been through that, different variations or iterations of emergency planning, emergency management over the years, especially in my 30 years here. But I think we're taking a different approach to it now, particularly when we start looking at our water system and the needs within our water system, and some of the storage deficits that have been identified to specifically meet the fire code and fight fires. So we've identified that we don't have enough storage in the reservoirs to meet the fire code. And we need to increase that storage so we can meet the 1,000 gallons per minute per household standing within the fire code. So that started us down the course of planning some improvements to our water infrastructure that would help in emergency management, and that's kind of kicked off into other areas of the city where we really need to improve our planning. We really feel it's important to be able to position ourselves to serve our community with whether it's a wildfire, earthquake, flood, or anything else that might come our way here in the future.
So when you're talking about water, we see on the news when these places there's some sort of a disaster and nobody has any water, and you need to figure out where to provide water to the people if the lines are gone.
Yeah, absolutely. We're in a seismic area, an area that is prone to seismic activity. We have creeks and hillsides and various topography that could slide, bridges could go out. So and we have all our wells on the north side of town. So what happens if a water line breaks and you can't convey water to the south side of town? What happens if we lose power to those well sites? So we have to look at emergency generation. We have generators at each well. We have portable generators. Can we move those if the roads are out or bridges are out? Are they most effective way to provide that backup power? Do we have a management plan for those? Are we exercising those regularly and making sure they work when we need them to work, rather than just sitting them in the corner and hoping they work when we need them? So it comes with a lot of planning. If we do get water pumping out of the wells, are the reservoirs able to receive that water and convey it to the customers? Is it chlorinated and able to be used as potable drinking water? If we can treat that water at the source, so people don't have to cook it if they don't have power, they don't have a deep source. That's the best case scenario, right? So that's a possibility. And then if we can't get it to the individuals, where can they pick it up? Where can we have stations where individuals could fill jugs so they can have potable water, or at least water they could utilize for basic necessities as well. So all part of the planning process. We've got a public works staff that are working diligently on that portion. We're bringing in a lot of sectors of the city, a lot of divisions of the city to work on, sanitation. We still have to, we still have sewers as well, solid waste, transportation, how do we get emergency services, aid to people? How do we communicate throughout the community, not only amongst emergency responders, but to the community themselves, and alert them of how they can receive services or what's going on in the community. So whether that's radio systems and emergency alerts, expanded cell capabilities that are provided by some of the normal suppliers. So the gamut of issues that we're trying to work through and stage for the council to consider here and there. It's really a long-term planning process, frankly, and it's a dynamic process that doesn't go away. We have to keep coming for this and make sure that our emergency preparedness operations perpetually.
So, how do you make sure you get everything covered when you've never been through a disaster? That's always the. I remember going through a couple of drills, little tabletop exercises, and it's just like, well, I never thought about that.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, how is it that you're going to be able to cover everything?
There's resources out there. Obviously, FEMA is a great resource. They have incident command training, ICT training, and so we're sending staff to those training seminars. And obviously, FEMA responds all over the country, so they've been through this before. They can utilize their past practice and the best practices to guide us. Mason County has emergency management department, and our first responders and our fire services and our police departments have a lot of different training capabilities and opportunities there as well. So it's really a team effort. It's something that, myself or individuals within the public works department or planning department don't necessarily deal with every day, but there's some resources out there so we can get them to a level where they can respond and react to these situations. We also need to make sure they can get here, right? So we need to take care of our first responders, our critical infrastructure staff, so they can feel secure at home. They can leave their home. They can come serve our community at the same time. So we're working with them to make sure they're prepared at home at the same time. They can feel secure in possibly leading their families, and then come here and make sure that they can provide water and provide the services in the city of Shelton. So we have to look at this not only for our community, but also our employees at the same time, so we can make sure we can respond appropriately.
So it should be a very interesting conversation with your council on Tuesday night to see what they may come up with that you hadn't thought about.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, that's Tuesday night, 6:00 in the courtroom at the Civic Center. You can come and listen in person, get on the Zoom, or watch it on the city's YouTube channel. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.